Chasing excellence is not a fleeting desire or a passing fancy. It is a burning passion that ignites within our souls, urging us to push beyond our limits and embrace the extraordinary. It is a relentless quest to surpass our own expectations, to surpass what others thought possible, and to create a legacy that resonates through time. Hello and welcome to my live stream for the debut of my album Grayness, which actually came out yesterday, but today I'm doing a live stream of this and I wanted to share it with you and go through it and talk about it and kind of give you an idea of what it's about. One of the things that I thought about as I was creating this is the album cover and picture looks kind of morose and dark and grayness and like, yeah, it's sad, but what it's really about is what we should start with talking about here is what do I call the grayness? And what that is to me is when you're not quite depressed, but you're not happy, you're kind of in between and you're going towards that sadness and you start to get paralyzed and you know, losing interest in things, and you know, you gotta get through it somehow. Well, that's what this is really about. This album is, what do you do when you get to that point? What do you do to pick yourself up? That's what this is about. Finding your center and putting yourself back where you want to be. What do you do? So with that being said, let's go over and take a look at the album here. This is the web page I stood up for the album. Has all the links there for YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, iTunes. You can buy it on soundgearproductions.com, or you can just stream it off of the website itself. So all that is there. It's where you can find me. And now I will join you, and so that we can, you know, go through this music and talk about it and, you know, have a little bit of fun this evening. Hope you're having a good evening, and, you know, it's Friday, we can all relax. And if, in case you're watching this afterwards, well, I hope you had a good Friday and are in a good spot when you're watching this now. So the first song here is called The Grayness is Near. The guitars remixed. This track is a little bit upbeat and pushing forward, and a lot of drums, kind of a rock sound to it, and it's kind of peppy. And this is really that moment when you're feeling down and you want to get past it, and it's like, what am I gonna do? For me, a lot of times it's about hearing the right piece at the right time, and you know, that's what gets me through these things. So music, it's always been a very powerful thing for me in maintaining my mental health and working through problems a lot of times. So anyways, that being said, let's jump into this. I'm not going to blather on all night long like a fool. All right, here we go. The Grayness is Near, guitars remixed. The reason I say guitars remixed is there was a version that the guitars weren't quite as pronounced, and so I made another version. It was still a good version. I just wanted to make another version where they stood out more, so that's why. All right, track number 1, The Grayness is Near. Okay, so that was the first song, and like I told you, that it's a bit upbeat and positive, and that's what I always want. I want people to think about the good in life. Think about what do you do to get going. Um, the parts that I really like in there is when it starts going with the pianos, and there's multiple. There's a rhythm piano part. There's a melody piano, the drums, and multiple guitars, and it just gets me going. I really like that piece. This is one of my first. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album. This one, number 1, number 2, and number 4 are my favorite tracks on this album. The next track is called The Light Shines on You Today. And as you might guess, it's very positive. And the way I think about this track is if Peter Gabriel and U2 got together and had a baby, this would be the song that they came out with. That's what I think of when I hear this song. It's got such Peter Gabriel vibes to it. So anyways, so let's move on to The Light Shines on You Today. All right, that was The Light Shines on You Today, and that was just like the happy piece of the album. There's no denying there is just straight up happiness pouring out and oozing out of that. It's like, dude, this isn't sad. This isn't grayness. No, you're right. It's not. But what it is, it's that moment when you come out of that funk, when you realize things are good and you're happy, and it's cool. Life is good again, and those are some of the best feelings in life when you pull yourself up. So, I really love that piece. It's I've always wanted to write something very Gabriel-esque, as it were, and was never able to quite hit that until this track, and it just really resonates with me. Such a happy song. I love that piece. I can listen to it forever and ever. Anyways, so the next track is The Grayness Around Us. It's a bit of a more serious piece and more it's an ambient piece. It's slower, you know, and it's just you know, very kind of mellow, and that's where this album comes together with that. I can honestly say that a lot of the reasons that this album came together is because, quite honestly, I was in a funk myself. I mean, I was not in a good place. I was not happy with anything. I was, you know, disinterested. You know, I love to cook on the weekends. I love to write music on the weekends. That's my thing. That's what I do. And those things just really were not appealing to me. So about a month ago, we went on vacation. We went to Denmark and had a really great time. But even going there, I was really feeling kind of, you know, just not there. I was definitely, the grayness was there. You know, I wasn't sad, but I wasn't happy. And while I was there, I was, and you know what's interesting is a lot of times when I come out of these doldrums, it will be a certain piece of music that gets my attention and pulls me up. And this one piece that really got my attention was this track by Venus Theory called Dear Entropy. And I'd never heard the track before, and I like this guy. He's a really cool dude. He's got a really great channel, and he does music production and sound design and just like this really razor sharp wit. But anyways, I heard this piece and it really resonated with me and made me start pulling myself out of this doldrums, you know, and it was really cool. So when I hear pieces like that, you know, that's awesome. You know, when you hear something that resonates with you, and you know it when you hear it. So it's awesome. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the next track now called The Grayness Around Us. And I'm actually going to let tracks 3 and 4 play together back to back because it segues into track 4 really nicely. And it's really cool. So I'm going to let those 2 tracks play, and then I'll jump back in. All right, there we go. That was awesome. I love that guitar at the end. You saw me thumping my heart there. I was just that way that guitar comes in so subtly and just so smoothly. It's amazing. It just it gives me the chills every time. I love that piece. And the grayness around us is, very mellow and very smooth, and I just like the way it transitions into that next track. So I thought that was really cool and fun. It was awesome. That piece just makes me smile. I don't know why it does. And when the drums really kick in on it, it's just fun. It's just like, ah. And yet, once again, this goes back to that idea, the grayness around us is that moment when you're feeling it, when you're really like, I'm feeling bad. And then don't let the grayness rule. Well, the title speaks for itself. You're taking charge, and you're like, hey, I'm not going to let this rule my life. I'm going to do something about this, So, one of the things that I thought was kind of funny is there's a good story here for you. I'm going to go off screen here, but I'm going to tell you about this picture for the album. So this picture here, you see, it's very dramatic. There's the little thing there, the graphic there, but there's a tree on the left side, and these dark clouds and a long beach, and it's just very, very dramatic photo. So when we go to Denmark, I love taking pictures there down at this beach. It's on the Bay of Aarhus, and I love taking pictures there, and I pretty much have all the spots where I like to take pictures now, where I've been there so many times. I know where to go and what to do. So this picture here, what happened was, this is really funny. This is a great story. So I'm at my in-laws' house, and it's probably the whole day. Oh, let me go back to the beginning. We get to Denmark, and it's sunny and 65 every day. The Danes are loving it. It's just beautiful weather. I'm the only guy in Denmark going, why can't it be cloudy? I know it's not right. It's kind of mean. But when you go down to the bay and it's cloudy and moody down there, oh my God, it is such a great spot to take photos. I love it. So judging by the photos you can see on the album, that's the album cover in the background there. Well, it was one of those days. Finally, we were there for 10 days, and we got one day like that. So I, told myself, if we get a day like that, I'm going to the beach and I'm going to take all these pictures. So as it happened that day, one thing after another, and I couldn't get down there. Well, I finally got a chance to go down there, but I only had like 30 minutes to work with. Luckily, the beach was only a few minutes away, so cool. So I drive down there, and I'm walking from the parking lot up to the beach at a very brisk pace, because I'm like, oh, daylight's burning. I only got like half an hour. I got to move quick. So I get to the beach, and I take a few pictures at the top. Like, there's always this dune at the top. Then you go down. So I'm at the dune taking some pictures. And then I go down, go to the right, and there's a little pier down there sticking out from the water, a little jetty. It's a smaller one. And I go down there, take some pictures, and, getting all into it. But I have this time crunch in the back of my head, so I'm working very quickly. And I would love to have spent hours down there that day doing this, but, well, where the cookie crumbled. So anyways, I noticed this group of people coming down the beach, and they're on the right side of the pier coming towards me. And they're a group of probably about 15, 20 people, and they're like an exercise group. That's what they do. That's their thing. They go down there, they exercise, and put their legs over their head and run around circles and do whatever it is they do. Not judging, whatever. So I start going to the working my way down the beach, and I'm like not quite running, but I'm walking really fast. It must have been really funny to see. I was just like total spaz here, and so I'm like walking, and I look over. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I stop. I drop to my knee, and it's not like I have a camera with me. I have my phone, so I'm acting like I'm pro photographer with a camera phone, you know. So I drop it. I'm like, "Oh, click, 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 click." I must have looked like terrible. Anyways, so I get up. And by now, this exercise group has gone past me, and there's another jetty, little pier. Well, it's actually a much bigger pier coming out from the water that's further down, and they're right before it. Okay, and I still have to go past this group. So, and I'm starting to get like antsy. I'm like, oh, I'm running out of time. I got to move. I got to do something here. So I'm like running down the beach now, like all crazy, and I run past this group, and I like jump up on the pier, and then, you know, because it's low to the ground, and I jump up on. It's not 12 feet in the air or anything, but it's low to the ground. I jump up on the pier, and I start running down the pier, and I stop, and I'm like, click, 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 and I must have looked crazy, and so I turn around, and you know they're behind me, and I'm facing out on the water, and I'm just like going crazy because I'm working really fast and you know trying to get some good shots, and the weather was fantastic. It was so cloudy and overcast. I loved it. It was the perfect day, and so I turn around. And they're still sitting there, they're exercising, but a few of them are just looking at me like, what is this guy doing? What is going on? And I get the guy, I was like, hey, you got your legs over your head, so I don't even want to hear it, man. Just leave me alone. So it really didn't bother me. I wasn't really paying attention to them that closely, but in my mind, in the back of my head, this story's going on, you know. So I turn to the right, and I'm facing the beach now, and I see this tree on the left side, and then down the beach, you know, the grass and everything there on that hill. And I was like, what a cool shot with all those clouds and everything. So took a couple pictures, took some other pictures. I left and went back and had dinner, and you know, made it home in time. So anyways, that's how that picture came about. It was a really funny story. It just like, I was going nuts. If my wife had been there watching me, she would have been laughing hysterically because I was just being such a nut. So anyways, yeah. Anyways, so let's get back to the topic at hand, the album. That's why you're here, you know. I can sit here and ramble all night. I won't do that to you. So the next album's called "The Grayness Exists But Does Not Define." It's still very much in the wheelhouse of like the previous song. It's, you know, a lot of guitars and drums and but it builds nicely, and I really like this piece. It's just really cool. I like the way it builds. You know, it's really awesome. So we'll go ahead and play that, and we'll go from there. Okay, so yeah, that's more of a chippy piece there. It's fun. It's, I like the way the guitars build and the drums really build that. Heaviosity, damage 2 drums, and Easy Drummer were really instrumental in building this album. It was a very percussive album for me. I usually write a lot more ambient stuff, so not as percussive. So this was really fun, and I really enjoyed all these pieces. This album was a real joy to put together, and like I said, the idea is about, it's not about being sad or saying, oh, I'm sad, I need to listen to sad music. No, it's about, what do you do to lift yourself up? What are you doing when you're sad? What helps you to get through the day? Music always helps me. I find the right piece, I'm back in the saddle. So now there's 3 more tracks on here, but I'm not going to play them all. I'm only going to play this 6th track, Observing and Moving Past the Grayness. This is a more of an orchestral ambient piece. And the title kind of explains what it's about. It's really being mindful of where you are mentally, observing, paying attention to when you're becoming sad and trying to move past that. And you'll hear that in this piece. You'll hear the definite moment when you figure it out, you see it, you realize it, and move on. And it's a very important thing. And I realize a lot of creative types go through these kinds of spells. I do it. I know a lot of people that do, and so it's important to be mindful of that. So anyways, let's get on to Observing and Moving Past the Grayness. Okay, there we go. That's the Observing and Moving Past the Greatness. I think that is the prettiest track on the album by far. It starts out very, it's a very ambient piece, obviously, and slow moving, but it is, what's the word I want to say? I don't want to say synthy because there are some kind of string parts in there, but it's more synthetic there in the beginning, and then there becomes a moment when it shifts to way more orchestral, and the sound brightens up, and it becomes very warm, and it's just such a cool piece. I really like that one. The last two tracks on there, well, number 7 is The Grayness Around Us, is an extended version of track number 3, so I'm not going to play that. And number 8, The Infinite Grayness, it's an ambient piece. It's 7 minutes long, so I'm not going to do that either. If you want, what's nice about this album though is the last 3 tracks are all in that ambient realm wheelhouse. So if you want to listen to the album and have a moment of like just steady, calm music, tracks 6, 7, and 8 together are really a nice, peaceful listening session. And that's what 7, 5, 2, 12, 14. It's about 15 minutes. So you could get a good nap in on that, or at least fall asleep, So one thing I really like too is track number 6 there, Observing and Moving Past the Greyness. If you do a playlist, put that track at the beginning and then go to track number 1, The Greyness is Near. They transition fantastic. It sounds really cool. So I like listening to that myself. It's really fun. Ah, man, such good stuff. Anyways, this has been really fun tonight, and I hope to do more like this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very much for everybody that's come out tonight and made comments and said hello, and it's just really cool. I appreciate it. I've always wanted to do something like this on a Friday night and just like chill and hang, and so we'll see if we can do more of this. And thank you very much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good evening. Thanks, and have a good one. Bye.